Allow me to introduce high tide, low tide. Now you could use this to help you understand and plan for people and plan for varying degrees of commitment, clarity, confidence. High tide, low tide recognizes that shit looks different on the shore if the water is high and when the water is low. Let's talk about it using the example of clarity and confidence in your beautiful, magical vision. There are times when you fucking know. You don't have a question in your mind. You're good. You're trucking. And then inevitably, depending on how many cycles of this you've been through, you think, finally, now I believe. And then alas, the tide recedes. Confidence, clarity, belief. Where did they go? Donde está? And you're in low tide. Things look different in low tide than high tide. When you're in low tide, you'll start to entertain a bunch of questions you don't have in high tide. And you know what you'll do? You might stop doing the actions that were so obvious and important here because you don't have the belief anymore. It's low tide season. That doesn't help. Recognizing that there is an inevitable flow and that when it recedes, sometimes you even see stuff on the shore you didn't see before, like different challenges. That's great. Low tide might reveal things that you could look at and fold into your experience. The trick is when you're in low tide, not to forget about high tide, and when you're in high tide, not to forget about low tide. That means when you're in high tide, you prepare for low tide because, honey, sometimes, until it doesn't, it will recede. And so you want to have a really clear, I don't know, Post-it note or something that reminds you that this waves. There are waves. And it will go back to high tide. And you might even write out what you'll do in low tide. I had a client, every time he went in low tide though, he questioned the legitimacy of the album that he was working on. It was so painful for him to think that all the things he had been doing were for nothing. And then to go back to high tide and things would be fine. So we started to make a low tide plan so that he knew in low tide, it was just low tide and not the end of the road. If you're interested in this content, I have more. Go to theselfhug.com. Also launched the Self-Hug Club. And this is a content hub with 11 different topics right now that you can peruse and use. They're what I've used to heal myself, what I used with clients the last 10 years, articles, perspectives, and activities. And right now it's only $5 per month while I tidy it up and get it going. And so you can use the link in my bio to navigate to the Self-Hug Club and sign up.